So these are the things that we must begin to understand and begin to think about and lead up to the year 2023. Now, I have laid the grounds, hopefully, even if it's only one person that is listening, for the youth, because these things I'm talking about should be knowledge that everybody understands. But I want to discuss with the youth and the women. After 22 years, I've been doing this work nobody employed me to do since 1998. Since 1998 till now is 22 years. I have enough experience and knowledge to speak authoritatively and say to the youth, the women of our state, our region, particularly of Rivers State, that if ever we needed a synergy, the youth and the women and the traditional rulers need to work together if we are going to make these changes that we're talking about. It is only when we have this synergy that we will have a right to make demands and have those demands met by politicians. The synergy we need is not, first of all, amongst us and the politicians. Because the politicians are the people that come to us to seek our vote. If the politicians don't need us, they won't come to us, they need us. So the synergy we need is between the youths, the women, and the traditional rulers. These things are natural evolution, natural involvement of how things should work for us to succeed. The youth, we give birth to the youth, yes. And we work with the youth until they reach a point where they can work on their own. That does not mean we should sever that synergy that exists between youth and their mother. Youth and their mother, together, we can make these changes that must be made. We must make these changes. We must have these changes. We have to work together to achieve these changes. Once we achieve this synergy, there is no political party, no political force that can defeat our decisions. And we can only make decisions that is in our best interest. It's natural. Let me explain. Any youth that is growing, that finishes primary, when you finish primary school, you go into secondary school. When you finish secondary school, you either go to a school where you acquire skills, or you go to university where you're also able to carve out a career for yourself and whatever. That is for your future. Now, where do women come in? Women are part of this future. Traditional rulers are part of this future. Because it is this future that we are going to begin to depend on as we slow down for the youth to take over. As we slow down for the youth to now begin to do better than we have done, to make sure that our traditional roles in our community, the ones that will take us forward, are kept in good form, are encouraged, and the youth are able to develop the future that they need, they want, that is in their interest, that will help all of us, the old people, the children that are being born, and the tradition that we should be able to keep, and the tradition that we should be able to keep. Now, that is why it is so important that the youth wake up to our responsibility. We're going to run some videos. Well, I don't know if I'll call them videos, some videos and some photographs that I want us to watch and try to relate it to the message that I am sending now. The youths of the Niger Delta are not lazy. I'm not talking about other youths. I'm talking about the youths of the Niger Delta. Now, there is a picture. No, bring it back. I will talk about them and then you can remove them. Now, if you look at this picture, they are placed side by side. From your screen, at least from the screen I'm looking at, the one on the left is a photograph in front of a private jet in Abuja or somewhere, but it is in Nigeria. It's in fact jet. Now, with a young boy, with his sisters or his mothers, either his brothers are the ones behind or the fathers. But the reality I want you to grasp here is that these are young women and young men that obviously are youths. Now, they are youth from a section of a part of Nigeria, and they have a private jet behind them. There is another picture of youths, bring it back, with the Nigerian Air Force. So it's in the fleet of the presidential jet. And this is about this group of young men going to a wedding. And one of them is supposed to be working in the villa or is associated with the villa. And they are going to a wedding. And so they are youths, just like the youths of the Niger Delta. Show us the youths of the Niger Delta, the ones doing coal fire, the ones doing crude oil refining. There is no difference between the youth standing in front of the jet and in front of the Air Force plane. There is no difference in age between these three young men and the youth, this youth that is very clearly involved in crudely refining crude oil that grows in his, that is in his state, in his backyard. The difference is that the crude oil that comes from where the Niger Delta youth comes from is the money that pays for the jet behind those 3 youths. That's the only difference. The difference has nothing to do with their age. This is a Niger Delta youth. This is his life. This is how he is going to make a living. The other youth in the other picture are going to make a living by being sons of politicians from their area. The Niger Delta youth that you saw, this one is not carrying the crude oil because he is the son of a politician or that he is a PA to a politician. He is doing what he is doing simply because it is just the only way left for him to make a living for himself and pay his bill. The choices most of the time left for the Niger Delta youth is either what they are doing in the creeks to make a living, or they go and commit crimes. Now, crimes are committed all over Nigeria by different types of youths. The difference is the type of crime that are committed. That's the difference. And so I highlight this in this program this morning to drive home to the youth of the Niger Delta. Let's see the one where some youth are perhaps standing on the east. Now, what the youth of the Niger
traffic was disrupted for hours at the Mbiama axis of the East-West Road.
To make a living is not the same thing that the youth of the North have to do to earn a living. Whether we like it or not, there has to be something fundamentally and unacceptably wrong with these pictures and the story it tells in Nigeria. And this is the reason why we say, let us restructure Nigeria. A governor in the Niger Delta can only employ so many youth, can only employ children of so much privilege. You can't just employ them. You cannot just employ them for the sake of employing them. There has to be something that they are doing. Therefore, I call on the youth of the Niger Delta, whether you are involved in refining crude oil that the government says is a crime, while the youths in Zamfara are able to mine gold, and it is not a crime because they sell the gold to the governor of Zamfara, who in turn sells it to the CBN of Nigeria. Whether you are doing, you are involved in Bullfire or refining of oil, or you're just sitting down thinking, what do I do with my life? Or whether you're one of the youth that every few months, when the amnesty 65,000 naira payment has been delayed, and you carry placards on East-West Road, or you carry placards calling for payment of money that is owed NDDC. If newsmen come up to you and ask you, why are you carrying placard saying government pay NDDC the money? You can't string a sentence together. That's not a job. When they ask you, how much is the federal government owing the NDDC? You cannot say how much is owed the NDDC. It's not a job. You're being used. So those are not the things that should be done. What should be done is that we should work together. When we work together, we can and must make those demands that are legitimate demands for us to make collectively together. That's why I am suggesting, I'm not appealing, I am suggesting and selling the idea to you that there is a need, a very serious need for us to work together. Not everybody can be a politician. As a matter of fact, I do not suggest that everybody becomes a politician. Not everybody should become a politician. We should be strong enough, financially educated enough, knowledgeable enough to be able to choose the right people to do politics on our behalf. So these pictures that I have shown you are the pictures of our own reality today. Now, let me touch on the issue of the election. I repeat, and I take responsibility for this. I repeat, on behalf of the Niger Delta Self-Determination Movement, that after so long, after one tenure of this government, after listening to different voices from the North, advocating for so many things and against so many things, I am convinced the Niger Delta Self-Determination Movement is convinced that the North does not plan to hand over political power to the South, even though it is just a political party policy and justified that the presidential power should shift from one zone to the other. That is to say, that between the North and the South. Though that is an understanding, it is always done to favor a particular group or a particular section of the country. So I say that the concept of the power shifting, if that concept is not going to be based on equity and justice, then in my opinion, it is futile becoming part of it. And that's why I'm calling on the people of the Niger Delta to bear that in mind. It is not about a Niger Delta person being the president. We have had a Niger Delta person as the president. It's not about that. It's about what is done in the name of being the president. Therefore, we should very quickly make this decision that while the politicians are claiming that power should shift to the South, I want to make it very clear, and I take responsibility for this, that the Southwest have governed for 8 years under Obasanjo and have also become the vice president under Buhari for 8 years. So that's 16 years. Then Yar'Adua did in total 3 years because Jonathan just finished 1 year after he died. And Jonathan ran election in 2011, won and did 4 years. So altogether, that's 5 years. Well, some people are arguing that it should come back to the Niger Delta. All right, fine. I don't want to be the one that will say it shouldn't. So fine, let it, if that is the argument, if it comes to the Niger Delta, and we bear in mind that we have done one tenure, are we just going to do one tenure to make up for the one tenure that Jonathan himself accepted that he lost an election? Nobody put a gun to his head. He accepted that he lost the election. So they are placing us in a position of being useful nuisance to the interest of the North. Because if Jonathan or anybody from the Niger Delta is made to do just 4 years, because with the Niger Delta has already done 4 years, and the Niger Delta does another 4 years, automatically it's going back to the North. So the North then is going to have done 8 years of Buhari, 3 years of Yar'Adua, and is now going to come back and do another 8 years. That is assuming that all things remain equal, because nobody knows tomorrow anyways. So all things may not be equal, right? So personally, I believe that when the power shifts to the South, it should go to the Southeast. Not because I believe that the Southeast is going to be able to undo all the terrible things that the Southeast has suffered under government after government after government. I don't think that they're going to be able to do it. But I just believe that for justice and equity's sake, it should go to them. And if there is an election and an Igbo man is run, I will vote for him. And I will advise any other person that would want to know if who they should vote for. I will say vote for an Igbo candidate in 2023 if there is an Igbo candidate. But do I think, or will I work towards a Niger Delta candidate? Well, if Niger Delta people think that they can win an election because somebody somewhere may have promised them that that will be so, time will tell. So I think that the whole package of what I have done today about the issues in Nigeria, I want to round it up about with the killing of the rice farmers or rice harvesters in the Borno State, right? The first figure was 43. The second was 64. the third was 73. I'm more inclined to believe the figure that is coming from Amnesty. I'm more inclined to believe that now. It's not, I'm surprised that in 2020 is when people in the South are realizing that there is a threat to food supply. I'm very surprised because I know that I have expressed this concern over a long period of time. Because I also know, even just recalling the civil war in Nigeria, and also knowing, reading, and doing research, that actually starvation and holding back food supply is a weapon of war. When you, it's a weapon of torture. They use it in torture. And it is recognized as a form of torture. And so I'm not surprised that that has always been the plan and the strategy of Boko Haram in Nigeria. And you see, sitting down in the South, people are thinking it doesn't concern them, doesn't make any difference. It does. Because we don't grow food to feed ourselves. We're dependent on the food that is coming in from outside. I remember I told somebody that we import palm oil into Nigeria, and the person said, no, it's not true. We cannot import palm oil. We do. Nigeria imports palm oil. Nigeria imports garri into Nigeria. So Nigeria cannot feed itself. The people that use garri as a stable diet and use yam as a stable diet in one form or the other are also mainly Southerners. I think in the past 5 years to 6 years, the Boko Haram strategy of attacking the food basket, the food base of Nigeria that mainly supplies food to the South, by reducing the food supply yearly and so doing increasing the cost of food. It's a strategy that they have perfected. And I also know, I believe, that it is going to get worse because fear is instilled and embedded in the people. You see, the people who were decapitated, the farmers, the method in which they were killed is a method to infuse fear into anybody else. And what that fear does is it keeps it in your head and it keeps it in your mind's eye, in your imagination. And so anything that may expose you to that, to the type of killing that happened last week in Borno, you will avoid it. You will be a fool not to avoid it. You will avoid it because everybody wants to stay alive. And that is the aim of what the next stage of this, the strategy is. So we need to, as a people, be able to relate that not only to ourselves, but to our politicians. and to the government, the federal government, in case they don't know, and to the federal government. I also want to round up, as I begin to round up, by again touching on the issue of EndSARS. I do not believe that the people who organize EndSARS are insurgents. And I also do not believe that they will expose themselves to be used. They will definitely welcome moral support and financial support. But I believe that that will be so that they will achieve what they want. And what they want from all that they have said, even with the cry of people saying that Buhari should go. Even Yar'Adua was called to resign, if I recall. He didn't. Goodluck was called to resign. He didn't. He did a lot of things that seemed as if he had resigned, but at the end of the day, he didn't. But he threw in the result of the election as a form of resigning. But I do not believe that even President Buhari would take it serious that because youths of Nigeria, anywhere, whether in London or in Lekki or in Port Harcourt, are saying he should resign, that he will automatically resign. I don't think so. That is not the Buhari that we know. So I want to suggest to the government, and also particularly to the police, that from when I can remember as a little girl, the police were not raised to see the police as the enemy of the people. The police is not the enemy. The police is supposed to be the friend of the people. And most times, we speak up and we speak on behalf of the police. I personally, as a rights activist, for years, up till now, up till tomorrow, I will continue to speak on behalf of the police. The way the police is treated in Nigeria, if you look at where they live, if you look at the money they earn, if you believe the fact that they buy their own uniform and all of that, if a young man comes up to me and asks if I would advise him to join the police, I would say no. I would say no not because the police is not a good career, but what will he get out of being a policeman? Whatever career you choose, even the military, whatever career you choose, you'll be paid for it. You should be able to build a home. You should be able to have a home. You should be able to educate your children. You should be able to pay your medical bills. You should be able to feed your parents. The police are not any different, should not be expected to be any different. The police should be able to do for themselves legally everything that we, non-police, are expected to do for ourselves legally. Up to a point, the police should be treated as well, as good as you would treat a doctor, a nurse, a teacher, a soldier. People who make extra sacrifice, not civil servants. I'm not criticizing civil servants, but a civil service man goes to work at a particular time, closes at 3, goes home. A policeman is on duty, yes, but the sacrifice the policeman makes between those hours that he is on duty and the sacrifice the civil service man makes or the taxi driver makes between that same time is not the same, or a pilot makes, it's not the same. So people who make such sacrifices on our behalf by choice, nobody forces a policeman to join the police. It's not in those days or during wartime when you're conscripted, or in some countries, like in America, you are obliged to join the army. You train and you're called a reserve. And if you're a reserve, you can be called up to go to Iraq. You can be called up as a doctor to go to Iraq, as a stockbroker. You can be called up to leave your job and go and serve in Iraq for 1 year or 2 years. It depends on how many years you signed up for, and come back home. So those type of people, in my view, are special people. And so the police and the army, I'm talking about the rank and file, are special people. And the government should treat them as such. The fact, therefore, that there is a conflict between the ordinary youth who is looking for a job, or cannot finish his education, or cannot find a job, and the friction between him and the police is a wrong friction. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be there. It's not the police that has made it possible for the youth not to have a job. It is not the youth that has made it possible for the police to not to be paid, or not to be treated well, or for the police to live under circumstances that you wouldn't expect human beings to live in. So therefore, I want to, at this point, appeal for and suggest understanding between the youth, the women, and the police, the rank and file of the police, and the rank and file of the army. Not the people that are at the top brass of the military. And I'm not talking about the people at the top end of the police we interact with. Because the changes that must come for the police and the youth and the women and the communities to live in harmony, and the children of police to live in harmony with the children of a fish seller or a fisherman, is going to come from this understanding that we are not one enemy of the other. But if you commit a crime, it's the responsibility of the police to stop you. And it is the responsibility of the police not to abuse your rights because you have committed a crime. There are rules and regulations. And so, why am I saying all these things? I'm saying all these things today because we have to be the change that we're asking for. We have to understand that these things are a right, and that fear in itself shouldn't be the reason why we should not be able to speak up. Yesterday evening, this morning, I was thinking and meditating about the issues I was going to raise today on this program. And then I came across a verse in the Bible, in Ephesians 3, verse 20. And it says, "Now, glory be to God, who by his mighty power at work within us is able to do more than we would ever dare to ask or even dream of, infinitely beyond our highest prayers, desires, thoughts, or hopes." I believe this is the New Living Bible. It's not the King James Version, because the New Living Version is it speaks the English of today, and I hope has the understanding of today. Now, glory be to God, who by the mighty power at work within us, that within us, the mighty power that is within us, is that of not to be afraid, is that of knowing what the right thing is to do and to think. That is my understanding of it by the Holy Spirit. To be able to do more than we would ever dare to ask or even dream of. What are we as a people, as a youth, what are you even daring to ask? At 20, you're daring to ask to have an opportunity to further your education, maybe to go to university. That is what you're daring to ask. You're daring to dream that you'll be able to go to a university, not just any university, quality university where you will learn something that will make you a useful human being to yourself, to your parents, to your community, to your future, to your children. That is what you're daring to dream about. The word continues, infinitely beyond our highest prayers. I mean, if you dare just to be able to attend a university and come out, the infinitely dreaming beyond your highest prayer is that you find a job. Is that you find a job. Desires that you find a good job, that you find a home, a good house, that you're able to build a house. Your thought should be your thought of how are you going to help your parents? How are you going to fix the leaking roof in your community where your parents live? Not everybody's parents lives in Port Harcourt. Beyond your highest prayers, your desires, everybody prays. If you don't pray to the living God, you pray. You ask something, somebody higher. Hopefully, I believe, as I do, you pray to the living God. Your desires, your thoughts, your hopes. What are those hopes? That you will one day be comfortable enough to buy a car legally. That when you are not feeling well or your parents are weak, you can take them to hospital, a good hospital. You don't have to bring them out of Port Harcourt unless if it is to bring them to a specialist. That there can be a hospital in your village where they can go, where you can pay their bills, where you can buy them wrappers once, twice, 3 times a year. These are the things that the Bible is talking about. Able to do. They are saying to you, the Bible, the word of God is saying that God is able, within the glory and the power that is within him, God, which he has given to you, which does not include fear, to do far more than these things that you are dreaming about. The Bible tells you in Ephesians 3, I'm reading from the Bible, in Ephesians 3 in verse 20, that the God you are calling on is able to do all these things, and even the ones that you have not thought about. So I'm rounding up by saying there is no need to be afraid. There is no need. There is every need to have these expectations, and that they must happen in your life, because that is what living is all about. That is what being a politician is offering to serve you to achieve. A politician is the one saying he will build hospitals, he will build schools, that the oil will be sold to benefit all of us, that there will be people who will be fishing, not in polluted water. There will be people who will be farming, not in polluted land. that you can go to market and buy a chicken that you can afford. All these things are things that we are entitled to, either through politics, through hard work. All these things are things we are entitled to. And I'm saying to the youth, I'm saying to politicians, I'm saying to mothers, we can all work together. This is what I, as a person, and the organization that I head is hoping to drive come 2021. I hope that by the end of December and by the beginning of 2021, I can be reached by any youth group, by any women group, by any community, by any traditional ruler, so that we can expatiate more and we can discuss more. Even politicians can reach me, even people who are appointed into this government from the Niger Delta, all can reach me. It is not about politics, party, whether I like your party, I don't like your party. That is not the point. The point is, if you are from the Niger Delta region, how do we work together? How do we get a restructured Nigeria? How do we own our resources? How do we control our resources? How do we stop our youth from thinking that 65,000 naira a month is what it is about, instead of the youths they are seeing in those pictures that we showed this morning are youths of their own age group. They are youths in their 20s. None of them are above 30, and even if they are, so what? We have youths that are in their 40s who are suffering in this coal-fire business, that are devastating our environment, that are killing themselves by breathing the fumes of this thing. This has to stop. If people in Zamfara can mine gold and sell it to the governor of Zamfara, who in turn is demanding that the CBN buys it from him, if that can happen, then our youth have a right. I have a right to have a modular refinery. Youths have a right to choose a career, to attend a good school. Mothers, grandmothers have a right to be able to go to a hospital and be treated where their lives are prolonged. Not a grandmother that is dying at the age of 50 is wrong, and it is unacceptable. On that note, my name is Ann Q. Briggs. My name is Ann Q. Briggs. You have listened to Saving the Niger Delta with Ann Q. Briggs. I've raised a lot of issues. One must be of interest to you. And like I said, I can be reached. If you send me an inbox, if you ask for my numbers, I'm sure somehow you'll be able to reach me. If you inbox me and you say what I don't like, I'm not going to respond to it. I'm definitely going to delete it. I don't have to respond if I don't like what you have put out there. It's as simple as that. I know what my organization wants to drive. I know what I want to drive. I know what I have dedicated the past 20 or 22 years to. And if it is not in line with what you're saying, I'm not going to listen to it. On that note, God bless you. Stay safe. And hopefully we will all have a great Christmas. Stay safe. Thank you very much. Bye.
NinjaPhoenix.com.
Get up, stand up for your right. Get up, stand up for your right. Get up, stand up for your right. Get up, stand up, don't give up the fight. Preacher man. up for your right. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up.
Subscribe to my YouTube channel at AnnQ Breaks for notifications and updates. Also follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all at AnnQ Breaks.